By the year 2030, your daily workflow will be almost entirely unrecognizable. Complex quarterly reports will draft themselves in the background, and functional code will generate instantly without human hands. For nearly a century, knowledge work has meant thinking for a living. If your job involved writing, analyzing data, or designing, you were paid for the time spent on manual intellectual execution. Even as computers arrived and filled entire rooms, the human bottleneck stayed the same. We still had to feed the machine physical inputs to get an output. These machines were strictly calculators. They could crunch the math on a payroll sheet, but a human still had to set up the problem, punch in the variables, and actively direct the process. Artificial intelligence has mutated from a simple tool into an active collaborator. The new economic reality is simple. A prompt equals a solution. The middle phase of executing the work, the hours of drafting and formatting, collapses entirely. When the manual execution of a task drops from hours to seconds, the value of putting in the hours for that task vanishes. The job is no longer about the effort of doing. It is about the precision of the request. We are crossing a threshold. Software has stopped waiting for your commands. It now actively proposes solutions and generates complete drafts. This illustrates a transition in value generation. You are shifting from doing the work to directing it. Instead of typing or formatting manually, your primary input is the strategic prompt. That prompt activates your personal AI team, your dedicated researcher, data analyst, and lead designer. A traditional corporate department might take 3 weeks and 5 distinct meetings to research a market trend, build a presentation, and design the slides. This new setup accomplishes all of that before your coffee gets cold. When an individual can deploy specialized AI agents for research, analysis, and design simultaneously, their personal output begins to mirror what previously required an entire department to produce. This scale also applies to how we make choices. Artificial intelligence can ingest years of historical sales data and instantly compress it into a single recommendation for you to approve. Because the machine handles the raw output, job titles will mutate. Writers will evolve into AI strategists, focusing on narrative architecture over word count. Data analysts will transition into AI decision architects, building the frameworks that tell the models what data actually matters. And software developers will become AI system designers, snapping together pre-coded blocks rather than writing individual lines of syntax. But there is a catch. These systems are prone to hallucinations, instances where an AI confidently invent false information, and they frequently replicate algorithmic bias from their training data. Those flaws are why the human in the loop remains mandatory. The machine cannot take legal or moral responsibility. It requires a human to apply critical thinking and properly frame the problem before a single prompt is ever written. Your market value is migrating. You will no longer be paid to generate the answers. You will be compensated to ask the right questions and supervise the machine's logic. By 2030, the most successful professional will look less like a solitary typist and more like a conductor, standing at the center of a massive, synchronized framework of automated tasks. Human skill paired with AI creates a multiplier effect that neither can achieve alone. To prepare, you have to start interacting with these models today. Practice prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is the process of structuring text so that it can be understood and executed by a generative AI model. Build actual projects using these tools to understand where they break. You have to abandon the old habit of measuring your day by individual tasks completed and start thinking in terms of systems that can operate while you sleep. The professional advantage in the next decade belongs to those who adapt their workflows the fastest, not those who cling to manual execution. The immediate path forward requires shifting into a directorial role. Staying in a pure execution model puts you in direct competition with software that costs pennies to run. The question is, are you ready for 2030?